to another episode of The Clever Clarinetist. I'm your host, Dr. Larkin Sanders, and today we are working our way through number 20 of Cyril Rose's 32 etudes, specifically as it pertains to the Missouri All-State and All-District Band Auditions. Let's talk our way through number 20. So of course up here it says Allegro vivace, but you should really only play these etudes as fast as you can play it successfully. So you're going to get a better score and a better chair if you play this at a slower tempo more successfully and more cleanly than you would if you try to play it faster and don't do it as well, if it's sloppy or something. So only work on this, only take Allegro vivace as seriously as you can. No need to go crazy for it or kill yourself for it. And you'll see that the time signature here is in 3/8. So the 8th note is going to get the beat, and there will be 3/8 notes in each measure. And this is exactly how I want you to subdivide it. Subdividing here means dividing all of these rhythms into more manageable pieces. My final tempo for me personally is 54 beats per minute as the whole measure with 8th note subdivisions. But that's because clarinet is my job. And so for you, we might think of this as more as 8th notes. We're going to click our 8th notes in. If you have a metronome that has this function, this is great. You can also find this on apps usually. We're going to start at like 100 maybe. Oh, too many triplets. As the 8th note. So whatever tempo you need to start at, spend some time with the metronome and trying to figure out what tempo you need to start at that makes it so that you never mess anything up, that you can play all these notes without getting confused or startled or anxious or anything weird. Maybe that's all the way down to 60 beats per minute. That's fine. It is okay to start here. Da 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 ba ba bum ba da dum dee 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 dee. There is nothing wrong with that. It's probably actually the smartest way to go about it. So what you're gonna do when you figure out what your first tempo is gonna be, you're gonna draw a little 8th note here and write it in. So let's say it's 60 beats per minute. We're gonna start there. And then as you get faster, you'll be able to erase that and add in your new tempo or slash it out and add your new tempo as you go along. Okay, so then we've got our metronome set up. I recommend that you always practice this with a metronome. It's okay if when you do it for your audition that you're perhaps not playing it without your metronome for the first time. I think that's okay. If that freaks you out, adjust accordingly. remove your metronome prior to the audition, whatever you need to do to keep yourself a little bit comfy. And so next we'll talk about articulation. You can see we have slur 3, tongue 3, ta, 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 ta. You have these staccatos over these notes. But like allegro vivace, I don't want you to take these staccatos too seriously, because the clarinet has this neat parlor trick that as you get faster, articulations start to sound shorter. So I recommend that as you're starting slow, especially if you're starting this slow at 60 beats per minute, that you use a legato articulation. Maybe a nice da articulation for these. Da, 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 etc. You'll find that as you speed up, you don't need it to be dot or anything. That'll kind of happen automatically. Da, 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 etc., etc. All right. The other thing you want to be aware of is making sure you're using the right pinky combinations. I don't think it gets super hairy until down here for those, but just make sure you're getting all the right notes and that the accidentals are carrying through the bar. We also have a pattern where we have the two of the same notes, two of the same measures in a row. This measure and this measure are the same, and this one looks like it's going to be the same, but it's different. That top note is a C, so make sure you land on a C, not a D, and that it goes C, B flat, A, unlike before D, A, B flat, G. Hello, kitty cat. My cat's talking to me about Rose, obviously. Very excited about it. So make sure all these notes are obviously in the right order. Da, 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 da. So as you're learning it, you're going to need more breaths too. And I encourage you to think creatively about your breaths. This also kind of opens the door for some musical expression. When I'm practicing this slowly, I actually like to breathe right here. It's a nice chance to do add a little drama. So that backwards arrow here means slow down a little bit. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 and then use this as kind of an tempo, or a chance to get back into your normal tempo. It's kind of fun. Of course, as you speed up, you'll need fewer and fewer breaths, but I think that as long as you do something like this convincingly, it would actually fly in an audition. Otherwise, your next breath, your only breath in this whole first chunk isn't going to be until here. You're going to have to make it from here to here in one breath. Ooh. And that's really challenging. If you can, kudos, do it that way. If not, make a really artistic opportunity out of breathing. It'll be really nice. Speaking of artistic opportunities, you'll also see that there are literally no dynamics written in this entire etude. If you're using the book that you can download for free on the internet. So if you feel like making some creative artistic choices, feel free to jump in there and write some stuff in. For me, I like to do a little decrescendo here too. And maybe starting a little bit, I like to start a little aggressively. Maybe a mezzo forte. Da 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 yeah da da dee 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 dee. So I would call, if you want to break down this phrase, maybe I would call this the peak of the phrase. So I would do like a little crescendo all the way to there and then do a decrescendo and kind of start over again. But that's up to you. If working on these notes is already overwhelming enough and you don't need any more things to think about, then fine. Do what works for you. Cool. So here we have a little bit of pinky acrobatics. Gonna have to do our right hand E flat, left hand C. Make sure that's consistent. I think you have to do it 4 times. Whoop, got them backwards. That's why we have erasers. And then otherwise you don't always have to use your left hand C. You can use the right hand C there if you want. And make sure you're not missing any of these accidentals. You can see there are A flats written in. Don't forget that there are still B flats and E flats. If you need to write in your flats, go for it. If not, then good for you. I don't need all of them written in, but it's nice to have them every once in a while. Okay, so we made it through that section. Now the next one is Super exciting. So you can see we have a TR, and that means trill over this note, and this is a B flat. So how the heck are you gonna trill from a B flat to a C without going over the break? Yabba, yabba, yabba. You can use your top side key to trill from B flat to C, and you'll see me do it when I play it for you. So use your, I'm gonna write in a little S to remind myself to trill with my top side key to a C. And you only need to do 1 or 2 trills. Maybe 1 if you get fast enough. So you'll kind of have this turnaround motion. Maybe do 1 trill, B flat, C, B flat, and then we have that A natural, B flat, A flat. Be patient with yourself. You might have to take this spot extra super duper slow for a while, and that's okay. Just make sure it's all consistent and that you're not just breaking down when you get here. If you get to this part and you have to play it way slower than this, adjust this tempo to match this one so that you're not getting confused later as you start speeding it up. Okay, great. I know for a lot of my students, it's hard to make this transition from here to here. Just remember that all these 16th notes are the same and that your 8th note pulse is still remaining consistent. I like to breathe here too. This is a good creative spot for breathing because you have this funky Alberti pattern, which means you're alternating between like a drone note. So over here would be the top note. And this would again be your odd tempo. Cool. You get to breathe there. You can do a tiny slowdown here if you want. Make sure you go left, right, left hand C natural there. Same here. I'll do my best to catch all of these left hand C's, guys, but I can only do so much. So be really diligent, and if you're ever catching yourself sliding across your pinky keys in this etude, stop and reconsider another way because you shouldn't be sliding through any of your pinkies in this etude. Have a nice little vacation into, what key would this be? F major, because we have E naturals. That's kind of fun. I like to use that as a creative breathing spot as well. Do a little backup, just like we did up here. And breathe. Tempo. Cool. Da 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 bo. Ba da da ba ba bum ba da 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 ba 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 da 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 dee 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 dee. Another one if you need it. A little slow down, a little breathing, a little odd tempo. Back in action again. I believe that the packet says that you only have to go to here for your audition, but just in case that changes, or maybe what I have is like out of date or something, I'm going to take you through the rest of the etude. If you don't want to work through this etude, you can skip ahead to the performance, but I recommend you learn the whole thing anyway because it's a great etude. It's really fun to play, and the more you learn on your instrument, the better you become at it. So I encourage you, keep going. Our little odd tempo. Here we go. Da 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 dee 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 dee. Do some of these E flats I think can really catch up or creep up on you. So if you're afraid you're gonna miss all these E flats, make sure you mark them in. Make sure you mark in anything that you think you're going to miss here. If it's an accidental, a pinky, a fingering, just go ahead and write it in. Write in what works best for you. You do not have to use my markings at all. But I mean, use them if you like them. If they work for you, absolutely use them. But if you've got an idea, if you've got a system that works for you, good for you. Do it. And actually, I'd love to hear more about it. If you'd like to put it in the comments, I'd love to know more. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to this. I know this confuses a lot of my students that there's a group of 4 here and a group of 2. So you can see I a long time ago just wrote in my own beam. The rhythm doesn't change here. It's still straight 16th notes. If this helps you, go ahead and write it in. Nothing's changing here. Your rhythm's still the same. The articulation is even still the same. It's slur 3, slung 3. Slur 3, tongue 3. I do a little slow down here. And you have a fermata over this rest, which means you can breathe as much as you want. And that's awesome. And now we kind of have a recapitulation. So this is the same as this. And we've already learned that, and that's great. That means from here to the end, we'll be coasting a little bit. It is a little bit different, but not until here. All of this stuff we've had before, and you can consult your markings up here to make sure that everything down here is the same and that you've got everything correct down here. And we end with a nice G minor chord, da ya bum 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 bum, dee 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 dee. Make sure you got your E flat at the end of that bar. Dee 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 ya bum 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 bum. And I like to be super dramatic because I've made it to the end of this crazy etude. It was really hard. I worked really hard, and it's a nice opportunity for an excellent hair flip. Yes! I'm gonna slow down a little bit and make a big deal out of that ending, and it will be most impressive, and everyone will clap thunderously, and it will be a glorious day.